I moved here on a whim, being like, it could be 3 months, it could be 6 months, it could be a year, it could be 2 years. I don't know. I'm going to see where life takes me. Where it wound up taking me was to Sean. That makes me sad. That's like, I don't know. Like, we both say we would not have met if it weren't for LA.
I'm just playing with them now. Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my YouTube. Thank you so much for joining me again. Today's the day I will stop making all of you wait, because today I'm sharing where Sean, Chai, and I will be moving in 1 month. Actually, exactly 1 month from today that I'm filming this. And don't worry, I won't drag this on, but I feel like before I jump into that, there is some backstory that I need to share with you so you fully understand everything. As you guys know, I have been pretty private about my relationship with Sean. I like to say private, not secret, or whatever that saying is. And let's bring this all the way back to the beginning of our relationship, because I knew really early on that there was a possibility if we wound up being serious and dating that I would have to relocate with him. Well, let me say, I wouldn't have to relocate with him. I don't have to do anything. I knew that if we found ourselves in a really serious relationship, I most likely would want to or would be doing it. It was never something he asked of me or insisted of me at all. Totally my decision, but we just had to have kind of rather serious conversations really early because of his profession. I remember like a few months into dating, I kind of had to ask him like really important, hard-hitting questions, like basically saying like, hey, I know this thing between us is going well. I'm not going to assume we're getting married and having kids and doing all of these things. It was too early to say, but like, obviously you both kind of know what you're feeling. But should that be where this leads us, I need to know a few things. And one thing I wanted to know was, because he's in a really demanding industry, I was like, could you and would you get engaged and married and have kids during the busiest time of your career? Would you want me to move with you and support you? Would you want X, Y, Z, whatever? So from the beginning, we had these conversations. He was always super honest with me. I was always super honest with him. And as we continued dating, I don't even know how to describe this, but I always have had a lot of morals and boundaries for myself. I think just being raised like Italian American, you know, some people have religious things, some people have cultural things. For me, it's definitely much more cultural, where I had a lot of expectations for myself. Like my parents had always told my sister and I to not even live with a partner until we were engaged. And we both wound up living with people before we were engaged, because like, here's the thing, I'm progressive. Even though that was what I was told my whole life, I'm still at the end of the day going to do what feels right in my gut. So like I said, we were having these conversations, and ultimately I had to decide, am I going to relocate with Sean for his job or not? And we came up with what works for us. And ultimately what I said to him was, I will relocate with you because I trust you and I know that our relationship is heading in a great direction, but these are my expectations as well. And he said, fair. And we compromised for each other. He's compromised a lot for me with my job, and he's helped me with every single tea party that I've put on, both like physically, mentally, and like filling teacups with me and like steeping tea in the kitchen and then like transporting it to events. And like, we've really been able to step up with each other in our personal and private lives. And we just kind of had those conversations, and I just had to do what felt good in my gut. And in my head, I was like, if I didn't move with him, it would just be because of my pride. And that's just hurting myself ultimately. So because we communicate really well about everything, what I wanted and where I wanted to relocate also was a big conversation that played partial factor. Obviously, where he got placed for work wasn't up to either of us, but where he chose to focus on or put in time at, like those were conversations and things that we did together. I don't know if you guys could tell, I'm trying to say a lot without saying a lot, because there's certain things, like certain conversations that I want to keep private, because I don't want to come on here and say XYZ, this is what we're talking about. I also don't want to jinx things. Like if and when all of this happens, like you will know, I will be able to say more. But right now it's just like, I don't know. I don't think it needs to be said. It doesn't need to be something that he needs to see. It's just like, I've really felt like we are on a really good path. I feel like I want things to happen when we're both like really excited and surprised. And we've had so much going on in our personal lives. Our apartment is a mess. We've sold half of our furniture. We will be traveling nonstop for the next 3 months. We will be relocating across the country. First hint. Things have been a lot for us, but a lot of really good and a lot of really positive. And again, this is something we talked about really early in our relationship, the possibility of this happening. And throughout our relationship so far, we've been dating just a little over a year and a half. Sean's relocated a bunch. I relocated with him for a little bit. We've just been like this. So we are really excited to plant roots somewhere together for the next 3 years. And another thing I want to say is when I moved from New York to LA, the thing is I had no plan, actually no plan. So I was never necessarily set on staying in LA because I moved here on a whim, being like, it could be 3 months, it could be 6 months, it could be a year, it could be 2 years. I don't know. I'm going to see where life takes me. When I moved here, I threw all expectation out of the window. I put my hands up in my faith and I just was like, Lord, take me. I am on this journey and I will see where it takes me. And where it wound up taking me was to Sean. That makes me sad. That's like, I don't know, like we both say we would not have met if it weren't for LA. He is from Idaho. He hates LA, if I'm being honest. Too much traffic, too dirty. He just like, it's so congested for a boy from Idaho. I'm from New York. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. This is my this is my norm. There's so much space here, but he should have never been here. And I should have never been here. I literally moved here on an actual whim and we met. I could do a whole nother story time another day on how we met, but we were both here for about 2 years, a little over. And I think like our paths brought us here and they crossed. And like, I'm really excited for this next chapter. I'm emotional because I'm so excited, but also I've like really met some of like the best friends here. Like I am so thankful for my time here. And if I'm being so honest, I would say the last like year in LA, I've kind of been 1 foot out the door. When we did that trial run in New Jersey this summer for Sean's job, I did not think I would like living in a suburb. I really didn't. And what living there showed me was that I really did. And not only did I like it, I was actually ready for it. So I think the transition coming back to LA was a little bit harder than I realized it would be because I had realized things. I was entering a new stage in my life, one where I want a home and I want a garden. I don't know. I want to go for walks in my lovely neighborhood without feeling like I'm going to get stabbed on the street in LA. My life is changing. I have a dog now. That's made me want a yard. Things in my life, I'm ready for that next stage in my life. And I'm really excited about that. But at the same time, it makes me sad to leave my friends in this current stage of my life. And I'm not leaving them. I will see everyone. I will be traveling a ton. Change is amazing. I like change. I embrace change, but it's also sad. It's bittersweet. So where are we moving? Let's just say we had options that could have panned out all over the country. Like I said, Sean's family's in Idaho. We had options in California. We had options in New Jersey by my family. And the option that fate brought us to is one that we are both really excited about. And it is completely different than anywhere I've lived in my entire life. We are going to Rhode Island. I don't know if I ever thought I'd live there. Rhode Island. Can you believe that? I am moving out of a major city for the first time in 12 years to go to a little coastal beach town in the smallest state in the country. I can't believe it, guys. I'm shook. Okay, so here's a little tea. Of Sean's locations and his options, my number one option was New Jersey. obviously because I was like, I'll be near New York City and I will be near family. My second choice actually was Rhode Island, because when we went and visited, I'd been before, but when we went and visited around Christmas time, nothing is like Newport around Christmas time. It is just so completely magical. It is actually one of the prettiest places ever. And we just fell in love. I was like, oh man, I could live a really nice life here. I would love it. And like I said, I was starting to get ready for this slower part of my life. And when we found out the news, it was Rhode Island, this calmness came over the both of us. And we just kind of understood why that's where fate is putting us. I think had we gone to New Jersey, there would have been an imbalance. I think Sean would have been, he's going to be working 6 days a week, 12-hour days, so he won't have that much free time. But when he did have free time, he would be with my family, with my friends, with my niece and nephew, in my surroundings, with my people. And I just think that's an imbalance. Like, I don't know how I would feel if all of a sudden it was me ripped away from my world and put into his. I don't know. It wouldn't be a bad thing. He would embrace it completely. He loves all of those things, but I just think it would be an imbalance is all. And I think some of our other options, there would have also been an imbalance, like more so imbalance in terms of he would have more and I would have less, or you know what I mean? Rhode Island was the one place where we could start fresh together. We could create a home and a space and just really create a beautiful life for ourselves. And I think what I'm so excited about is the fact that when he is working those really demanding days or weeks, I could get in the car in 4 hours and be with my family, with my sister, my niece and nephew, with my friends. My best friend from college, we have not lived together in the same city in 12 years. Since 2013, we will be living in the same city. She lives in Rhode Island with her husband and her daughter, and I have a best friend there. Since I went to school in Connecticut, majority of my friends live in Massachusetts and Connecticut, which are 30 minutes to an hour from Rhode Island. I'm really excited. I'm going to have cutest cottage core content. You are seeing me enter a completely whole new era of my life. That said, I'm going to be traveling a lot because, like I said, Sean will be working a lot. So I will be in LA probably 6 times a year, in New York probably 15 times a year, in New Jersey 20 times a year. I will be traveling a lot. There is another project that I'm working on that I haven't announced that is a traveling project. So it will be taking me all around the country. I'm not worried about not seeing friends because at this point I've lived in New York for a decade, in New Jersey for 2 decades, in LA for 2 years, and I have friends from all over the country at this point, and I will see them as I make my rounds. I feel anxious like saying all of this for some reason, just because it's such a change, one that I'm looking forward to. I am going to embrace a slower life when I'm home and then be on the go when I'm not home. And yeah, if you guys live in Rhode Island, please DM me. We need suggestions. We are looking to live potentially in Bristol area, and I definitely want a house over an apartment. We've toyed with buying versus renting, but think it makes sense to probably rent for a year because we don't know if we're going to like the area that we're in, and then kind of dive deeper into that. But I'm as shook as you are, but like, I'm so excited. I truly am. And yeah, I'm excited for this next phase of my life. I have a lot upcoming, like a lot. Like, you are going to be shook because if you follow me, you are going to see that I'm on a plane or a bus or a train every day for the next 4 months until we move. So brief timeline, we are moving out of LA in a month. We will be heading to the East Coast and staying on and off with my parents, but not really. Like, we'll be with them a little as home base, but we will be, we have a wedding in New York. Then we're going on a trip together, Sean and I. Then we come back and I go to a bachelorette party. Then Sean will fly back to Idaho. Then we will move in June, and then we will continue to travel all of June until like early July. So that's what's on the docket. I'm really excited to document and share this next stage of my life with you guys, and I'm nervous. Not nervous to move, just like nervous to put this out there. I don't know why. And thank you guys for being so patient. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe because I'm going to be posting weekly on YouTube, if not bi-weekly. And this has quickly become my favorite platform. So I will see you guys next week.